Hello, thanks for this opportunity. The title of my presentation is Women for Women in Kenya, exploring the preparedness of women to support women candidates and political appointees. This paper will be presented by Maxwell Peprah Opoku, and I am PhD candidate at University of Tasmania, and the other co-authors are Beatrice Owako Anyango and Beatrice Atim Alupo. I'll first begin. Um, I'll first begin with um, the content of my presentation, which is as follows. I'll first discuss the introduction, then talk briefly about problem statement, the research objectives, methods, the results, and then conclusion and policy implication of the study. Now I'll go into the main presentation. In many African societies, many studies have found out that women are discriminated against, and several reasons have been given, and in most instances, it has been attributed to the culture of people which encourages discrimination against women. So, in view of this, in in Kenya, for instance, some culture did not support, especially the education of women, which affected the participation of women in decision making as well as occupying influential positions. So, um, this contributed to the um, inability of women to occupy key political positions and also contributing towards or fighting for the rights of women in society. Fortunately, towards the end of the or towards the beginning of the 21st century, a lot of efforts was paid into changing attitude and also supporting women to have access to education. Despite the um, these objectives or these advocacy has resulted in many women having access to education as compared to previously, whereby women were only kept at homes and married off at early age. But now many women are accessing education and they are able to um, maybe get paid employment as well as occupying political positions. But the problem is that despite the change or the changing trends, many women, few women are able to make it to national assemblies or and also um, getting into elective positions. It is important to point out that in Kenya, after the electoral violence of 2007, there were constitutional review and there were provisions for two-third gender rule into national assemblies, which means that no gender will have more than two-third representative in the National Assembly. So this was intended to enhance participation and parity within the society. However, this objective has not been achieved as few women are elected as parliamentarians or hold political positions in Kenya. Several reasons have been given for inability of women to get access to to the national assemblies or political appointment in Kenya. One is finance, and this is because many women are not working, so they are unable to mobilize the necessary finances to campaign or to lobby for elective positions. And also, violence has also been given as another reasons for inability of women to also get into political positions because the political environment is hostile and many women cannot or cannot withstand such an atmosphere. So they deem it appropriate to stay out of politics. And also, secondly, in African settings, for instance, women are supposed to cater for children as well as cater for the home and also provide the needs of people in the domestic needs of their husbands. So these responsibilities do not allow women to also get into political positions. And there is something about marriage because some studies have found out that many women who find themselves into politics are likely to encounter divorce. So doesn't this trend do not encourage women to also to veer or to enter into politics because in Africa, for instance, marriage is very sacred and people are unprepared to risk their marriage for politics, which they cannot do it in their entire life. So in view of this, many societies would discourage women from doing what? From participating in politics. So most importantly, addressing the barriers faced by women have been found to be critical to achieving an inclusive society. Let's not forget, many there are evidence to support the fact that when women are into politics, they will advocate for the right of the vulnerables, um, addressing challenges faced by women, as well as the right or respecting the rights of children. However, one central question that is yet to be answered in the literature is to how prepared are women to support women candidates or women leaders. Let's not forget 52% of the population in Kenya are women. So, but it is unclear as to whether the majority or women are prepared to to support their fellow women when it comes to seeking political office or supporting their bid to get into elect, um, elective positions. So this study will will address this gap in the literature and explore the preparedness of women to do what? Preparedness of women to support women candidates. The main objective of this study was to explore the views of gender advocates and women political leaders about the preparedness of women to support women candidates. This was achieved by answering the following questions. How do women perceive women seeking political offices? How prepared are women to contribute and attend political rallies of women candidates? Since few studies have examined this area, we decided to adopt exploratory design for the study. So, we, in terms of method, we adopted qualitative approach for the study. So, we interviewed 30 participants made up of 19 females and 11 male gender advocates in Kenya. The next phase is presentation of our main resource. Our first resource was that we found out that women were unprepared to make financial contribution. So many of the participants spoke about the fact that fellow women are reluctant to contribute to the political campaign of their fellow women. And this was attributed to poverty in one scenario and also the negative perception of women about women candidates. Many women are not working or they don't have good jobs to be able to make financial contribution to women candidates. And some participants spoke about the fact that women don't want to see their fellow women in politics. So in view of this, they wouldn't be happy or they wouldn't be willing to contribute financially to their political campaigns. Another finding was the lack of support from women. Many participants spoke about the fact that their fellow women are reluctant to support their candidature. Instead of encouraging them, they rather discourage them. They describe their bid to enter into politics as unnecessary and unuseful, and even preempt their losses, their electoral losses. So instead of looking to other women for support, they rather discourages them rather than encouraging them to pursue their political dream. Other participants spoke about the fact that other women are jealous or work against their political fortunes. So this doesn't help many to enter into politics as expected. Another finding that emerged in this study was the perception of inferiority and systematic discrimination. Within the Kenyan society, many women have been told that politics is a male arena. So in view of this, many participants spoke about the fact that women are unprepared to attend to attend or be part of their campaign team. So in view of this, they have to rely on males to prosecute their political agenda, since their fellow females are unprepared to be part of their campaigns. Also, others also spoke about the fact that women who have been able to reach the higher higher leadership positions are not prepared or are not like ready to be part of politics, to serve as encouragement to other women, because they see the political arena as very dirty, as a lot of things takes into place. So even when they go to them to support their political ambition, they are unprepared to do that because of politicization of issues in Kenya. So in order not to um, bring themselves into disrepute, they decide to stay away from politics and not bother to be part of any political activities or support fellow women candidates. Another another finding was control of men over women. So many participants discussed that men still control women in societies, in which determines the kind of candidate they should support. For instance, if a man supports a particular candidate, they expect their wives to also support the same candidate. So, in view of this, women have no power over the candidates they are supposed to support in elections. So, this affects the ability of women to make the free will, or to have the free will to, to be part of or to support women who are seeking higher offices. And the trend is that in Kenya, many men do not want women to rise up, so they are against the rise of or the participation of women in politics. So they wouldn't encourage their wife to support women candidates. And there are instances whereby, if, for instance, a woman disobeys the husband, it would in one way or another contribute to the collapse of their marriage. So women wouldn't want to risk their marriage, so they will follow the dictates of their husbands. Before I come to our conclusion, it is important for us to state here that our study was limited in scope as we only included gender advocates and women who are in leadership positions to share their perspectives. So we cannot generalize the findings of the study. So we expect future study to adopt quantitative approach to explore the perspective of women about their preparedness to support women candidates. So in conclusion, we will say that women can use their numerical advantage if there are, there are constant engagement um, between women as to how they can support fellow women to serve as their mouthpiece within the societies. Once women realize that they will be they they will be able to do what? To support other women, they will be able to push other women candidates. We also recommend that women who are interested in politics should come together, pool their resources together to support candidates, and in view of this, we will be able to achieve, we'll be able to have many women participating in politics. We also encourage the government of Kenya to continue educating society about ways through which they could involve women in political activities.